Over the past couple years, my buddy and I revisited the older LEGO games, and along the way I discovered I had a very strong obsession to LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4. After 100%ing the game multiple times, I still couldn't get enough, so I decided I wanted to complete the game once again, but this time in a more challenging way. Up until this point, I had never actually finished a LEGO game on my own. I would usually always have my buddy by my side, but I wanted to complete this challenge without any help whatsoever. So I loaded up the game with one question on my mind. Can you beat LEGO Harry Potter without jumping? After finishing the unbearably long beginning cutscene, we head to the Leaky Cauldron where our first level begins. I happily play through the first level completely casually, arriving at Gringotts and retrieving my key, and then entering the vault. After that, Harry and the gang arrive at Hogwarts, meet Fluffy the three-headed dog, and make the trek across Hogwarts to our first class, Charms. Using our newly acquired Wingardium Leviosa spell, we save the student from the chandelier and then build the blocks up to the other students. Using Leviosa, we could lift Harry onto the little lip of this blue LEGO platform, and with a few character swaps, you'll find that NPCs tend to want to find a way up on their own. Eventually, NPC Hermione jumped on top of the platform, and we were able to save the two final students. After unlocking Wingardium Leviosa, pressing B causes these useless streaks of blue to shoot from your wand, so in order to make the spell more effective, we need to head back to the Leaky Cauldron. Inside Wiseacre's wizarding equipment, we punch in this code that unlocks Accio for us, and now that we have it unlocked, our Leviosa spell shoots these orbs instead. Orbs that when shot at our companion, sends them flying upward. The only downside is that player 2 can't be dropped into Accio Jump, and only on very rare occasions will player 2 actually get height on an Accio Jump. With this new tech, we can head into our next level and use our new Accio Jump, which requires hitting Ron and swapping to him as he reaches his peak height. Since the orbs only shoot linear, I need to lock on to player 2, drop out right before the orb hits him, and then swap back, landing on the platform above. I then repeat this step once again, and then perform a running Accio Jump since this gap is pretty large, then swapping to Ron and completing the level. We return to Flitwick, and using our new Accio Jump plus an eager NPC Ron, we can unlock Lumos fairly easily. Snape teaches us some brewing, and then it's back to Accio Jumping, this time on these stone Hogwarts platforms. We get the rare Accio Jump here, and then use our lock-on tech, swap to Harry, and complete the puzzle. Herbology requires one Accio Jump to get onto this cart. We then save Ron and then unlock Lumos Solem, and then it's on to Quidditch class. As Dumbledore clearly states, in order to fly upwards we need to hold A, so to combat this all you need to do is rub up against certain objects and you'll gain height as Harry, allowing us to use his magic to defeat the flower monster. Our next level is Harry's first Quidditch game. I was really proud of this tech as I've never seen it done in any runs before, and my buddy found it on a casual playthrough. After flying Hermione across, you slowly descend as Ron, and once you die, you'll respawn on the other side and be able to fly through the whole map. Skipping past the middle of the level, we specifically build these blocks, jump back on the broom, and then leap off by pressing Y. The rest of this level is more Accio jumping from each platform, and then ending it off by destroying the wood. Christmas then arrives at Hogwarts, and we make our way to the library's restricted section, using an Accio jump onto this platform, and using momentum to get up and grab the spider for our potion. We then repeat the same thing to grab the flower, and then with a couple of Accio / lock-on Accio jumps, we can make it to the platform on the opposite side, retrieving the last ingredient for our potion and finishing the level. 1-5 sees us in the Forbidden Forest, where we line up Ron on this rock, Accio jump him to the higher rock, and then have him carefully balance along these green vines until he reaches the middle. Dropping in Fang, we swim to this dirt mound, where we then have to lift him high enough so that he can land on it, and dig up the lake. Using Lumos, we can get rid of the vines, and use Hagrid to pull the platform that Ron has stood on. Being attacked by this plant sends us over this log, where we can then swap to Fang and head up this fallen tree to end the level. Which leads us to our final level in Philosopher's Stone, 1-6. A level proved so tedious and so difficult that it may have botched this challenge, so we'll come back to it later. But for now we begin year 2, playing the entire first level completely casually. We then arrive at Hogwarts, tame mandrakes and pixies, and then prepare for Harry's Quidditch match. Building this bouncy platform and swapping characters lets us get up easily, where we then hit Dobby once, and use an Accio jump to hit him again. The NPCs were quite eager on this platform, so that was easy enough. Hagrid then zaps Dobby, Dobby then hides in a closet, and we finish the level with a final hit on the house elf. We learn a new spell, Dual Draco, and create a Polyjuice potion, tricking Crabbe and Goyle with cupcakes. This bathroom level stumped me at first, as I needed to jump across these toilet seats, but for some reason, Ron could lift Harry unusually high, so that section ended up being pretty simple. Disguised as Crabbe and Goyle, we fall into the water and use Lumos, releasing a flute to tame our snake. NPC Harry eventually jumps out of the water, and we end off the level. Returning to the bathroom, we begin a very concerning level. After defeating Moaning Myrtle, Harry is sucked into Tom Riddle's diary, and we face a major problem. Player 2 is now a memory/ghost of Tom Riddle, meaning I couldn't lock on to either of the characters, so I couldn't Accio jump. So, I know what you're thinking. How did I beat this level? I just left. Yeah, turns out if you just leave, the game thinks you finished the level. Speedrunners do it in their runs all the time. So we moved on to 2-5. Hagrid gets taken to Azkaban, and we casually complete the level, leading us to the Chamber of Secrets and our final level 2-6. Accio jump with Ron and get rid of the squid, and then run across these rocks to build the bridge that we're going to Accio jump across, leaving us with one final Accio jump to enter this hole and head into the chamber. After fighting the basilisk, we Accio jump into this Mario pipe, and then once again Accio jump onto the higher platform, and then again, and then one last time to reach the sword and stab the basilisk, completing the Chamber of Secrets. The Prisoner of Azkaban is the best Harry Potter, and you can't argue against it. We defeat the Monster Book of Monsters, get to platform 9 3/4, and use an Accio jump with Hermione to reach our first potion ingredient. Then repeat the step once again to get onto the next train car, defeat some Dementors, learn Ridiculous and Divination, then use an Accio jump to move us on to Care of Magical Creatures. To get this stupid chicken wing across this lake, I needed Ron to stand on the lily pad, lowering it so that I could walk onto it, and doing the same with Hermione, finishing our Buckbeak taming. In 3-2, we find ourselves Accio jumping throughout the entire first section and playing the second section casually. 3-3 is the opposite, where we play through the first section completely casually, and the second with a few Accio jumps and character swaps. Accio jump Ron into this room, and then shoot Mrs. Norris if Filch catches him. We then drink the invisible potion, and use our character swap tech once again. Then Accio jump Ron into the next room, and finish the level. Learn the Patronus charm, beat the Whomping Willow, and head underground. With a few Accio jumps onto these leaves, NPC Hermione leaps to the next stage. Fall beneath these vines, and NPC Hermione will jump on top of the spiderweb, NPC Harry following suit. Then use an Accio jump to get Hermione to remove the first anchor of our puzzle. We can run across these webs, release the second anchor, and then get Hermione to the next stage using a well-timed Accio jump, releasing the final anchor and unlocking the Shrieking Shack. After turning into a werewolf, we build this boulder so that we can perform 2 Accio jumps to move on to the higher platform. Accio jump Hermione onto this Lego block, then do the same to Crookshanks so that he can dig up our ladder. Then end off the level with one final Accio jump. 3-5 sees us back in the forest, where we fill the lake, and with the help of a frog and a character swap, get to the higher platform. Run across these lily pads, retrieve the disc, and put it in the record player, leading us to a single Accio jump in section 2 to end off the level. 3-6 was not fun to figure out, as I had to tediously Accio jump and levitate both Harry and Hermione across these gaps, slowly and painfully, but I eventually finished the section and progressed to our last Accio jump of year 3, moving on to the Goblet of Fire. The Quidditch World Cup began, and we finally got to use a new tech. If we Accio jump Hermione onto this rubble and lock onto her as she pulls out Crookshanks, we can perform what's called a human warp. The reason this happens is because I have no idea, but speedrunners use it and it just works. With a character swap, we can create the potion and finish the level. Back at Hogwarts, we Accio jump onto this platform and then do the same to Crookshanks to create our old person potion. We then moved on to 4-2, which began pretty smoothly, performing Accio jump after Accio jump after Accio jump, and giving Fang a little nudge onto this platform. We were making good time, until we arrived at the Dragon Tail. Using Harry's invisibility cloak, he's the only one who can get past it, meaning we couldn't have player 2 Accio jump him over this tiny platform, as Hagrid and Fang have to be in this underground section. So in order to get past this tail with both players, I created something called bubble clipping, where if you spam Immobilis on Hagrid, he will eventually clip right through the tail, allowing both Hagrid and Harry to proceed and Accio jump over that tiny platform. And finally, we can finish that stressful level. We move right on to 4-3, using an Accio jump to this geyser and performing one really tedious Accio jump so that we can pull this chain. NPC Hermione jumps to the higher platform, and then there's a bunch of well-timed Accio jumps, and I was pretty proud of myself for getting this sequence first try. Crookshanks has a higher jump when locking onto him, so we used him to reach the egg and enter our final sequence. Initially, I was worried about jumping over these cracks, but if you die, you just respawn ahead. Alternatively, you can put the NPC in front and they'll jump over the cracks no problem. And I'm happy to say that the next 3 levels only required 1 Accio jump and a character swap, ending our 4th year at Hogwarts. But I know what you're thinking. What about 1-6, Face of the Enemy? Well, if you remember in the beginning of the video, I said I had never beaten a LEGO game on my own, so I needed to call my buddy for some much needed help. Here's my predicament.
Okay.
I beat this whole game
Uh-huh.
without jumping.
Okay.
But you know the level at the last level of Philosopher's Stone where you fight a Quirrell with like the heads?
Yeah.
That I think I have to jump like 5 times in that. And that's the only time. It's in that one section. But I think you can help me at least cut the number down a little bit. So we put Fluffy to sleep, played a game of chess, and entered the final room. This is the part. So drop out really quick. You'll see why I can't do it. The NPCs have a mind of their own. So Hermione's just back here. So whenever I get the chance to go up here, like I can't have her hit me. What I was trying to say is that I couldn't line up my NPC to perform an Accio jump across this gap. I couldn't set up player 2 like I was doing this entire challenge, as they would just run to the back wall scared. And I didn't have the 1P 2C skill to pull this trick off on my own. So we got to work, using Voldemort's head to hit Quirrell, and then Accio jumping across the gap to burn his face off. Lift my ass up. Okay. Lift my ass up. Okay. Yes. Okay. We had gotten past the second sequence, but the gap only got bigger. So we tried, but we failed. Again and again. We got close a few times, but then something like this would happen. Oh, hold on. Something's happening. Something. Nothing was happening. We had to restart the level. But we didn't give up. Hit him. Nice. And oh my, let's go! After an hour, we had done it. Quirrell had to be on the very edge of the platform, and with the perfect timing, we were able to reach him. Like I said, I could have beaten this on my own if I was any better at using 2 controllers at once like speedrunners do on these games. But it was much more fun beating this with a friend. And although that technically means I've still never beaten a LEGO game on my own, I'm okay with that, because LEGO NPCs suck. So that answers the question. Can you beat LEGO Harry Potter without jumping? Yup,